10 Moments that Defined the Depp Heard Trial. Netflix is to re-examine the impact of the high-profile, televised defamation case between actors Johnny Depp and Amber Heard in a new docu-series released overnight on Tuesday. For 6 weeks in 2022, the court in the U.S. state of Virginia heard the tawdry details of Depp and Heard's volatile relationship, and its ultimate, unhappy end. Depp sued his ex-wife for defamation over an opinion article she wrote for The Washington Post, alleging she was a domestic abuse victim, though it did not mention him by name. Heard countersued. Jurors awarded Depp, who denied abusing Heard, $15 million, £12 million, in compensatory and punitive damages. Heard won one of 3 counterclaims against Mr. Depp and was awarded $2 million in compensatory damages. But the case, dubbed the first trial by TikTok, became almost as infamous for the conversations it sparked across social media as the legal proceedings themselves. As the series airs, we look back at 10 key moments from court, which helped define this closely watched standoff. Mutual abuse. To some observers, the relationship between Heard and Depp could be summed up in these 2 words: mutual abuse. This was the description used by clinical psychologist Laurel Anderson, Heard and Depp's former marriage counselor. Called to the stand by Depp's team, Dr. Anderson described a volatile relationship, with both parties threatening to walk out of sessions amid arguments. But in Dr. Anderson's view, Heard was often the instigator of these fights. Depp had been well controlled 4 decades before meeting Heard, Dr. Anderson said, and did not engage in violence with past partners. With Ms. Heard, he was triggered. They engaged in what I saw as mutual abuse, she told the jury. On more than one occasion, Heard initiated violent interactions in an effort to prevent Depp from leaving, she said. It was a point of pride to her, if she felt disrespected, to initiate a fight, the court heard. Burn Amber. Over 4 days of testimony, Depp was pressed on a number of his text messages and emails featuring graphic insults of his ex-wife. In one instance, he was asked about a 2013 text exchange with British actor Paul Bettany. "Let's burn her," Depp had written, referring to Heard. "Let's drown her, before we burn her." He then made a further obscene suggestion, "to make sure she is dead." The actor told jurors he was ashamed of the messages, and that they were an attempt at humor based on a Monty Python sketch. "This is a film we'd all watch when we were 10, it's just irreverent and abstract humor," he said. Personality disorders or post-traumatic stress? Called to the stand by Depp's team, forensic psychologist Dr. Shannon Curry told jurors she believed Heard suffered from twin diagnoses: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. Dr. Curry said she had reached her conclusion after spending about 12 hours with Heard in December 2021, conducting mental health tests and reviewing her medical records. Borderline personality is a disease of instability, Dr. Curry said, marked by a lot of anger, cruelty toward people less powerful, and attention-seeking. The behaviors are driven by an underlying fear of abandonment, she said, following audio shared in court of Heard begging Depp not to leave her. Rampant substance abuse. Throughout the trial, jurors heard 2 competing accounts of Depp's substance use. To hear Depp tell it, he was sober for much of his relationship with Heard after detoxing from the opioid oxycodone in 2014. But Heard described a different Depp, one prone to alcohol and drug binges, despite her repeated pleas for him to get clean. According to Heard, Depp frequently abused alcohol, cocaine, and painkillers. He would pass out, get sick, lose control of himself, she said. According to testimony, this behavior occurred in front of Depp's children. In one instance raised at trial, the longtime manager of the actor's private island in the Bahamas said she recalled seeing Depp passed out in the sand in front of his son. Depp rejected Heard's account of his drug use, saying her characterization was grossly embellished and plainly false. His team pointed out that she also drank and sometimes used drugs. Who is the monster? It depends who is asked. Again, jurors were presented with 2 very different pictures of the trial's central characters. Heard told the court the monster was the dark side of her ex-husband, the volatile and violent version of him, who emerged when Depp was drunk or high. Text messages sent by Depp to staff and friends seemed to support this description. "Amber and I have been absolutely perfect. "I have locked my monster child away in a cage deep within, and it has worked," he wrote on one occasion. But while on the stand, Depp said the monster was a phrase he used just to mollify his then-wife in an attempt to avoid conflict. Asked why he used the phrase himself, he responded, "Because